All right, now we're working. Now that XSplit stopped being frozen. Hello, hi, welcome. Is 91? 91. Welcome to Drop Frames episode 91. JP McDown, joined by the usual guest and host. Host it is, not guest. Ezekiel III and CohhCarnage. And our guest this week is none other than Professor Broman. How's it going, Broman? It's been a while since you've been on the show.
Hi.
Man.
It's going good, man.
I think you were on in like the 30s. Let's see, Professor.
It's been a while.
Broman.
Oh no.
I'm gonna take a look-see. How you been, man?
I've been good. Life's good. I got a house. Moved into a new house. It's pretty great.
Congrats, man.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thanks.
Congratulations. How was the move?
Horrendous. I didn't like. I thought that the home, like I have a curse when it comes to paperwork. Like any paperwork I touch is awful. So I thought like once I signed everything and we got over like the curse, it was going to be fine and relaxing.
Yeah.
And that's actually the opposite of what happened. Like,
Well, then everything starts. Then it's
moving
real.
in, like
Yeah.
nothing exploded though. So
Yep.
that's fine.
Well, that's good. That's good. Yeah, I found out that I have to move on Monday, so that's cool. I have.
I
60
saw
out of
your
your
tweet
house?
about that.
Yeah, I've got 60 days to get out of the house. The owner wants to sell it. And the worst part is that I had just sent a lease 2 days prior for 1 year renewal, and they didn't sign it because they basically wanted to refinance the house and the tax is too high. So they're just like, yeah, just sell it. I just can't pay for it anymore. Just sell the house. And so like
That's
I'm
insane.
getting fucked over in the most personal ways and getting kicked
that's
out of
a
my
nice
house.
too.
Yeah.
Like that really kind of fits what you're doing right now
Yeah.
in a lot of ways.
That's why it's a pain in the ass because I have to fit a house to accommodate 4 other people once every quarter and also put a giant set in it, which is hard to find because it's got
Hard to do.
It's got like 16, 17 foot ceilings in the living room, and for lighting and all that shit of the studio, it's needed. But yep.
So
it's-
pardon me because I haven't heard the news or anything. You may have talked about this already. Like, are you staying in San Antonio? Are you going somewhere else? Like,
Yeah,
do you know
I'll
what
probably
you're
stay
doing?
in San Antonio. Yeah, I'm going on Friday morning to look at a couple places. Hopefully, one of them works out, and then we'll start that whole process. But
That's wretched, man.
yeah, I wish I could just buy, but I just don't want to commit right now because there's just too many factors where it's like, well, I don't know if I'm going to be here in a year because I might be there, and that if I buy a house, what the fuck? I'm not going to buy a house for a year because no one does that. So I just got to keep renting, which sucks, but it's whatever. I'll figure it out. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
I hope.
So you're saying I can't come stay with you for PAX?
For South?
Yeah.
No, you can come this weekend, but it's like I said, I don't know how long I'm going to be at the house in terms of what days. So,
Ah,
yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah. Speaking of PAX South next week, there's no drop frames at PAX South. So we'll have our normal show next Wednesday. And then it'll be the first PAX in like 4 years that we haven't had drop frames, I think, or 3 or 4 years, something like
Wow.
that.
This is the first PAX I'm not going to in about that time. It feels
Well,
really
Wow,
weird.
really?
I
It's the first PAX I'm going to in like 2 years.
I tweeted out
Nice.
the other day.
Yeah, I'm
There's
excited.
not that many other people are going, so it's okay.
It's gonna be
Actually,
that's
you know,
fine.
it's funny you say that. I'm surprised how many people aren't going this time. Like, I kind of, whenever I go to PAXs, I kind of do, you know, a cold poll, just being like, hey, who's going?
That's what I did,
You know,
yeah.
ask buddies and stuff like that. I'm very surprised how many people are saying they're not going. A lot of people saying they're saving for East. Many people saying they're only going to TwitchCon.
Yeah.
People that
Yeah.
used to like do the whole PAX thing, like East, West, South. It's pretty wild.
I think we'll just use this as a segue into the article that one of the reasons Broman is here is to discuss an article that he wrote for Polygon that launched, I think, on Monday. Is that right? Monday?
It was Monday, yeah.
Yeah, Monday. Talking about how people stream too fucking much, and that's kind of the business. And I think that's one of the reasons why they're not going to those conventions is the grind. I mean, I've heard Summit 1G himself say, yeah, I don't want to go to that convention because I'm grinding right now. Like, I'm going to keep grinding. I just want to keep grinding the job and not go to a con. And I'm like, well, he's got a point. Like,
It's accurate. I mean,
Yeah.
that's why I skipped out on a lot of cons myself. When Destiny launched and everything was going crazy, and I was getting like so much growth every day just from being around, I was like, I can't leave. you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
Well, dude,
I
I mean,
feel like
that-
I'm. Huh?
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say now I feel like Destiny sort of like they're obviously all their development assets are being invested in the next game, so like it's kind of a slow time. So I feel like I have more freedom to do things now
Yeah.
since the time and
For
you know
sure.
since I can I can finally take a vacation.
Oh yeah, yeah.
bit.
Well,
And it's also kind of interesting to see people like Summit, who is arguably in the top 3 variety streamers on Twitch. Like he's one of the biggest streamers on Twitch overall. To have him be like, yeah, I got to skip cons to keep grinding. Can you imagine what that looks like to like the streamers that are working towards their sub button or trying to get enough subs to go full time? They're sitting here like,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's never ending.
And I don't know.
That was
I don't know some of all that well, but I feel like the reason that if I was in that position, it's because I would be afraid of losing it. I'd be afraid of going to a con for 4 days and come back and just see sub drop by like 3,000 or 4,000 and viewership dropped and just being like, well, I'm back. Let's start all over.
4,000. Those must have been big days.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of the bigger streamers with Twitch Prime just have giant on and off times with people who are doing their sub stuff.
In not the last 2 days, but the 3 days before that, each day, boom, 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 added up 450 subs gone.
Yeah,
and I was getting subs. I was getting subs each day too.
Yeah. I gained about
Twitch
600 since Saturday. Then last night, overnight, it was minus 100. So it.
That's
just like we talked about when it came out. There's no question that Twitch Prime has made sub numbers incredibly more turbulent. Like they are almost twice, or actually in some cases a lot more. Like when you have a big Twitch Prime day, 30 days after that, it's rough.
Yeah.
It's rough.
Yeah.
The renewing really just like hammers you.
Sure.
You know, even if you have a big day, you're like, I don't know, some people are just gonna forget to turn it off. But with Twitch Prime, it's definitely 30 days later you're gonna get punched in the gut.
Totally.
It's rough.
Well, let's take a step back real quick.
Yeah.
A couple of things. This is going to sound very first world probably when we're talking about this.
Yeah.
You got to remember that, this is kind of this is, I guess, inside the job. So we're kind of talking from
This is a show about streaming.
Yeah.
Like,
So
it's okay.
if-
It's for JP.
yeah.
You got to bear in mind. You got to bear in mind, like you can only complain about things that affect you.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to complain about shit that doesn't affect me because it doesn't affect me. You know,
Right.
It's not like it's a first world problem. Yeah, because I live in the first world.
Accurate.
There you go.
I feel like at least if we're gonna get into talking about the article.
Yeah, definitely.
Ko asked me a really good question before we started, and he wanted to know what my motivation behind it was.
Yeah.
So work-life balance has always been something that has been super important to me. Primarily because my dad had 2 heart attacks when he was 42 and then 49 respectively when I was growing up, and it was because he was working too much. So after those, I that was right around when I turned 12. He started talking to me about how, like, Ben, you have to make sure you don't work too much, and you have to make sure that you're focused on things, and you have to make sure that you protect your free time, and you have to have margin in your life. So work-life balance is something that's kind of always on my mind. And when IRL got introduced, I wrote the article for 2 reasons. One, because I think work-life balance is a conversation that we all need to have. About, it doesn't matter what profession you're in. It is so easy to overwork. So I felt like that was important. And then 2, I honestly feel like IRL is the first time I've seen Twitch make a change that's going to have a big enough of an effect that it might change their brand identity. And so I wanted to write the article so that we could open up the conversation about potential negative effects and some changes that are like, the introduction of IRL is definitely going to change the face of Twitch, period. But what happens with that is something that I think we need to talk about as broadcasters, and I think that Twitch needs to start talking about it, and I'm sure they are, on a corporate level, because it's a really big change of direction from what they've been focusing on for so long.
Yeah, I was thinking about this the other day, but Zeke, go ahead as well, and then I'll share.
Well, I think I might have to disagree with as far as IRL changing Twitch.
Okay.
Because the conversation that we had about it on a previous show, I think rings true for me still, because when it was Justin.tv, it was an amalgamation of live streaming, all kinds of different shit. And the gaming popped out of that and became this huge fucking phenomenon that eventually became Twitch.
Yeah.
Now that we're starting with the gaming, we're having all these little satellites come off of it. But I still think that the same thing that happened to Justin TV with the video game section of it, the video game section will still be the biggest section because we cater to an internet type audience. IRL maybe has a place, but I don't think not on Twitch. I think the IRL stuff will be still mostly relegated to other sites rather than Twitch for popularity. I don't see it really changing the core of what Twitch is, and that's video game broadcasting.
Sure. My counterpoint and concern is that the full launch of IRL hasn't really happened yet.
Good point.
IRL, in my mind, has not been launched until this is where I can broadcast from every single day. And
that's a really good point.
That's what concerns me. And that I bring that up in the article is that, and we all know the way that the Twitch works with directories. And the second that a game gains popularity, one of the reasons it rises through the ranks isn't just because a big broadcaster decides to stream it. That can have some effect. But if you also have 20,000 people streaming that game to 1 or 2 viewers, that skyrockets its focus. So if the millions of people who have the Twitch app on their phone all decide to start live streaming from their phone on Twitch, it elevates IRL's directory position and it becomes a very prominent force on Twitch. So I see that, like, yeah, right now IRL isn't really screwing with anything, but I feel like that problem in particular, the volume problem, I guess you could call it, is what's really going to define where IRL's place is going to end up on Twitch. Because if you have 50,000 people broadcasting from IRL every day, that's putting it right up there with League of Legends and Overwatch and Dota. So I think that it's a small change that could result in something big down the road, and that's why I wanted to have the conversation about it.
Sure.
Go. Were you gonna comment, or are you good?
Well,
I don't want to force it out of you.
Like, you theoretically could do that right now. I mean, anyone could fire up a Periscope, drop it in IRL category, and do that right now. Granted, it will be a lot easier when Twitch is facilitating it, and I'm sure they'll get to the point where they're encouraging it. Hey, you can now stream from our app. Do whatever stream whatever you want as long as
you're fucking crazy.
So yeah, exactly. So, but the big thing is, do you think people will watch it? And if so, then you're right. Then not only like it has to, a lot of things would have to happen for that to not only take place in a microcosm, but also over time and actually be that way. Like, okay, 50,000 people may try streaming, but what's going to happen in 3 days when those 50,000 people all still don't have more than a viewer or two? Are they going to keep doing it? Is it going to happen? Like, think like music and creative and stuff like that. They go through these big waves of popularity where, when they come out or when Twitch is really strongly promoting it, or there's a Twitch town hall at TwitchCon and they talk about how great the category is, you'll see these massive bumps, and then inevitably it kind of starts evening out. And inevitably you start seeing it get like kind of in the background, which has happened with music, creative, cooking, social eating. So it's like this same argument, for instance, I remember hearing with social eating. Like, hey, now that people can eat, you can just turn on your cam and eat and talk to your people. We're going to start seeing this go up. And it's like it never really did. So even though I think the accessibility could definitely lead to it, the content may not have the staying power. But we'll see.
I know I would completely agree with that. That's something I had not fully considered, I guess. But it is like, that's an extremely accurate point, is that if it doesn't get picked up by viewership, then it might just fizzle out, which is 100% accurate. And I think that the true telling thing will be when they launch the app, and ease of access is like, that's the big thing that's different from all the other directory changes they've done. Is it's been, okay, I can boot up my streaming setup and eat or talk or whatever, but now you don't have to have that setup anymore. You can just do it from your phone. And so, like, I am really interested to see how broadcasting from your phone will change Twitch.
And another thing to consider, by the way, just real quick, is what kind of options are we really going to have on the phone?
It's true.
No.
I want to know
no
more
chat.
about that too.
No notifications. How am I going to see who subs to me? If I miss it in chat, how am I going to know when people tip me? You know, and are popular streamers going to go that or see that and go, well, since I can't really interact with my stream and get all my notifications and my overlays and graphics and stuff, maybe I'm going to stay away from
Time
that.
to get a second phone.
Right?
Yeah.
Or like the Pokemon
backpack.
did. They had like 3 devices in front of them. I have an iPad to read chat, and this phone to run my Skype, and this phone to check my viewers and stuff. Like and then once you go through all the work to make that happen, at that point, will it be worth it? I don't know. It's going to be interesting. By the way, quick side question: do we have any hint on when this is going to come out?
The phone app?
Know.
I don't know. Yeah, I feel like that's going to be a major update to the Twitch app. That if they're, I just know it's going to be a major update. I have no idea when it's going to come out though. And with that said, it probably not for a while. But as you guys are saying, I think that definitely goes hand in hand with the IRL broadcast or the IRL platform that is, because it hasn't had that big of an impact on Twitch this past couple of weeks. There's been a couple of streams that get 4,000 or 5,000 or maybe even a little bit more, but it's that for an hour, and then they start playing video games. They swap over to the actual gaming content on Twitch. But I don't know. I think I'll definitely check out the mobile app, but I think that's just I'm not fearful of it. I think it's just Twitch trying to get a new audience on the platform.
And that's
and it's going to be fun. Like I've got to get a tattoo this year. It'll be kind of cool as like a gimmicky one-off stream, to pull up IRL and let's watch Cohh get his tattoo, that kind of stuff would be kind of cool.
I painted my green screen wall on IRL. We were talking about that beforehand, and that was something fun that you could do with IRL. I mean, I wrote the article as more of a jumping off point to have this conversation about it because I felt like it was necessary. And I do think that there's a lot of great things that are coming out of IRL. Like, I like that I can have a space where I can paint a wall, or I tried to install curtains the other day, and then I found out that I have metal plating along some of my studs, and so I couldn't do that. But it was fun to share those moments with people on Twitch, and I think that's the great side of IRL is it's a chance to, if you choose to, let people in to your life in a more intimate way, and I think it's a really great way to connect with people. It's not all doom and gloom.
Definitely. One of the other things you talked about, though, that I think is something to mention is this idea of, always be casting and always be live. And you were kind of using that to go hand in hand with IRL, the fact that Twitch is promoting the idea that you can always be live no matter what you're doing. But to take a step back from that, Twitch is a culture of if you're not live, you're losing money. If you are not live, you're not working. You can work on things. You can update graphics. You can have conversations with people. But for the bulk of our jobs, if you are not live, you are not working, you're not making money.
If you're not gaining, you're losing.
Yeah, definitely. There's no, a day off, and I think you talk about this in there, but a day off is basically a day lost in a lot of ways. And I think that's a shitty thing that goes with this job. But the nice thing is a day working, we're playing video games. So we can bitch, right? But we can't bitch too much. I don't know. I was
looking today on my 4-year. I'm on day 1,147 of streaming every day, and people ask me all the time, how do you do that? How do you stream so much? And I'm like, I'm playing video games.
Right.
I play video games for you guys every day. I do a lot of work off stream and stuff, but this is kind of the best job in the world.
Yeah.
So
I totally agree. To your point though about always be casting, I
that
think
was your
that
point.
Everyone.
To your point.
Oh yeah. Well, my point. Well, that you brought up.
Exactly.
I think we have all had times, and I feel comfortable saying that, where we know that we did too much. Either you streamed too long, or I guess Cohh wouldn't say too many days in a row. But we've all had days where we've overextended ourselves, and I guess the other primary concern I have is it is that culture, that culture of just let's completely divorce ourselves from the idea that there can be too much of a good thing. I think that, you know, it's hard because like I brought this up so we could talk about it, but I don't have a suggestion other than like, you know, things that we were talking about before the stream, like ways to have views on your numbers that aren't going to impact you emotionally, like ways to approach things where you're not just tearing yourself apart for taking a day off, which was like, for me, when I started taking my 1 day off a week, I was like incinerating on the inside. Like I would look at my dashboard and I'd be like, no, and freaking out all the time. So like, I don't know, like it's a tough problem to try and address because it's also something that's praised. Like, at least if you're American, like American culture is like, you work and you work and you work and you'll stop working when you're dead. And like, that's praised. And everybody's like, oh, well, you know, it's hard when you're in the echo chamber to try and take personal time or take care of yourself when, you know, you go on stream and you say like, yo, I was supposed to spend some family time today, but I wanted to spend time with you. And everybody in chat is like, yo, you're fucking awesome. Thanks for doing that. Like, and it's like bolstering this idea where you can make something that could technically be a negative choice or something that's going to impact you negatively personally. And because of that culture, you're getting positive feedback about something that is a negative choice, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
Totally makes sense.
Sure.
But I think the thing that keeps repeating in my head is, what are your priorities? Like, you got to ask yourself what your priorities are. Are your priorities money? Are your priorities success? Are your priorities happiness, like self-worth, like that kind of stuff? If you're streaming all the time and you're pushing yourself to the limit, your priority is probably not health or something like that.
Yeah, no, I totally,
health, physical or mental health. Your priority is success or you know, money or whatever, and that kind of thing. And that's, you see, like I take a day off at least 1 to 2 days off a week, and if I don't feel like it, I'll take another day off. But it's easier for me to say, obviously, because, you know, it's okay for me to take a day off because I have enough to
Well, you get what you want out of it, is what you're
exactly,
saying. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. But I think that's at the core of it. If you're always broadcasting, you got to ask yourself what your priorities are.
It's definitely true.
For sure.
Yeah. I think another thing, and I think I say this with more emphasis on it than I did last year, definitely. But like, consistency is the number one thing. So taking a day off breaks from consistency. So that's also why, and I think that's promoted by, definitely on this show it's promoted. I think it's promoted by most big broadcasters. So what kind of one of the other things in the article that you were talking about is the up and comers are basically saying, well, everyone else says to stream every day, be consistent, have a schedule. I got to stream every day and be consistent and have a schedule. So then that kind of facilitates itself down the line, as it were. I just wonder, like, what, if that ever changes, or if that ever should change, or if that's just the grind, if that's just the job.
Yeah, it's a complicated problem. From what I have heard from smaller broadcasters that I have spoken to about this, that they said that the moment they heard that there was a mobile app coming for their phone, they thought, holy shit, now I can be online every moment that I am not asleep. Like, that was their first thought. And so like that, like, again, like culturally, like that's cool. And I think Zeke like made a really great point about it's a priorities thing. Like, if your priority is growth, you're now being presented with more options to grow. I just think that it's important that inside of all of that, you do at least think about taking time to take care of yourself, because as much as quantity matters and consistency matters, quality matters a lot. Like, nobody wants to tune in every day and watch you be a grouchy bitch or whatever.
Well,
you know,
I mean,
and
some people might watch that on Twitch. You never know.
I was the number one offender for broadcasting while I was just a grumpy bastard asshole. But but I was like, I have to be consistent. So I'm getting online today, even though all I want to do is be like, it's like sometimes you just have to grin and bear it and, like put on a good show, just like it's a stage, a theater production or something like that. So yeah, I think that it's just important to take a moment to think about yourself on top of all this, because even if you are grinding and your priority is to grow, you have to protect yourself long term, because if you build a culture on your channel where everyone's expecting you to be there every single day, and then all of a sudden you decide to take a day off, or you have to take a day off due to a life event or something like that, the understanding that you would hope for might not be there. You might try and do this thing for yourself that's super positive, but because culturally you haven't really reinforced the idea of sometimes I have to take care of myself, you might be doing something good for you and then getting negative feedback from that, which is also really hard. It's always difficult to make a change to your stream or your life or your schedule and then be excited about it. And when you present it to your community, they're like, you know what? Fuck you. This is garbage. And I think that we've all had that experience.
I was about to say, to what you were saying, I couldn't agree more. It's pretty crazy sometimes. Like, I'll never forget, I had a buddy who had a kid while I was streaming, and we were talking about it in my chat, and he hadn't streamed for like 3 days. He had just had his first kid, and this was day 3 of not streaming. He didn't stream the day the kid was born, 2nd and 3rd. And someone in chat was going like, yeah, well, it's not like you have to be with the kid 24 hours a day. Well, I mean, he could show us some respect too and get online. And it's like,
Yep.
Are you kidding?
That
Like,
poor
are you
12-year-old has so much to learn.
Sometimes you hear stuff that there is no human being should ever be told that after having a child. Quit thinking about your child and start thinking about me instead of your kid. Like, if a guy on the street said that to you, you would punch him in the face. Like, I would.
Yeah.
I'd say, you leave me alone. Like, this is my child and you're not important right now.
Well, the good news actually was it happened when I was offline, and
Good.
the general consensus of the chat after it happened was they were just like, what are you thinking, dude? Like, so I mean, it was good because like I didn't even have to say anything. I was watching, and it was like he got shouted down basically.
Good.
But still, to think that someone would kind of like sit by themselves and think that is kind of just like,
Well, I think
those people are out there. It's just like,
yeah, I think there's definitely a like 12-year-old viewership, to just name it that, a young viewership on Twitch that just doesn't understand adult things and how that works, and so they just say things rather than thinking about what they're saying, and that is a culture on Twitch that is definitely a part of every community on Twitch. It's just something that
that's
sometimes you got to deal with that as a broadcaster.
That's something that I had to, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Zeke, but this is something that I had to unlearn, like, from my past when I came on Twitch and started broadcasting full time, is that like I came from a background, like I went to college, I was studying to get my master's degree and all this other stuff, and a lot of my career in that was writing. And so I put a really heavy value, like if somebody is taking time to write this down, they super feel it. And so like when I would read Twitch chat, I would read a statement like that, and it would destroy me, because I'm like, oh my God, this person like thought about this, and then like they considered the positives and negatives of it, and then they decided to write it. When in reality, like, that's not Twitch chat. Twitch chat is more knee-jerk of a conversation than talking to someone face to face.
Yeah.
So if you're a new broadcaster out there and that's something that you're dealing with, unlearn the importance of the written word on Twitch.
Yeah, you don't have to respond to everything in chat. You don't have to necessarily think everything in chat is worth value, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's a really shitty thing to say on a broadcast, but it's totally true.
That's not shitty at all. In fact, it's really, really good advice. Like, being able to selectively pick the positive things in chat and use them to bolster your stream just makes your stream so much more enjoyable for the people that are watching it and enjoying it. But if you focus on the negativity in chat, which could happen for all sorts of reasons, some completely out of left field, that's when you let them control your content.
Sure.
So, I mean, that's a point that honestly I don't think is driven home nearly enough, especially for smaller streamers. Like, the second you acknowledge that thing, you're giving it power over your potential power for your own content.
Listen
No.
to this, man.
Don't do that.
That is some of the best advice I've ever fucking heard. Holy shit.
Well, that brings up the point that I wanted to bring up as far as taking days off, as far as viewers, giving you shit about it, or just I want to hear each of your thoughts on do we owe our viewers anything? Do we owe our viewers anything?
We do, the ones that are choosing to pay us, especially those that are subscribing to us. But here's the thing. It's not, we don't owe them necessarily concrete metrics or numbers. We owe them value for what they're choosing to give us by their own drive. That's the important thing. Giving value to subscribers is extremely important, in my opinion. That's one of the reasons that we can do that. Now, in terms of like the general population, streaming is free. It's free content. You never have to sub. You never have to do anything. You don't even have to watch ads. You can just close the window every time ads watch. Streaming is free. But for those that go that extra mile and say, not only do I like your content, but I want to financially support you creating this content, you don't necessarily owe them, but you do owe giving them value for the money they've given you. I feel very strongly about that.
Brotman, what's your answer? I'm going to go last.
Yeah. No, I
still
think I
thinking.
agree a lot. I agree a lot with what Coh says about value. Like if someone's subscribing to me, I feel like that then the relationship has become transactional and I'm being treated like an entertainer. So like if you buy a bottle of water from me, like I have to give you the bottle of water. I don't just get to say like, thanks for the money, jackass, and then like throw it in the trash.
Light it on fire.
Light the water on fire. I love it.
There you go.
But yeah, so I think I agree with that. When you get to a point where you have a sub button or you have regular supporters, I think that is the point where you do owe people something. But I would agree that like general population wise, I agree it's free, and I don't know if I owe a random denizen of Twitch anything. Someone who's on my stream all the time, someone who's a positive member of my community, whether they're subbed or not, I feel like I owe that person acknowledgement or presence. But I think, and this is probably someplace where I get caught up a little bit, is I read too much into the randomness of things that are in chat and people who I probably shouldn't pay attention to sometimes. And that's what really, those are the earworms that get hooked inside of my brain and start, controlling my content a little bit, because I'm feeling like I have to be there because so-and-so will be sad if I'm not. But random Twitter egg 52 maybe isn't the person who I should be thinking about in that moment in time.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I feel you. I've always felt that subs, tips, bits, whatever, however monetarily you want to break it down, that people give to you, I've always felt that and I wrote it down because I wanted to make sure I said it right. I feel like you're paying me for what you're getting right now and not future content. It's like paying a street performer to dance. Here's $5, do your robot thing. And right now, but not in the future. I'm not gonna give him $5 and say next week I'm gonna come back and you do the robot thing.
Wait, are you saying that's subbing or tipping?
I'm saying all of it. It's like you're
grouping it all together.
You don't see a difference between someone tipping you $5 and someone subscribing to you?
Yes.
Let's make it a little bit clear. Tipping you
okay.
or subscribing with a non-Twitch Prime sub.
Bare bones, no, I don't.
Non-Twitch Prime sub.
Well, let's face it. It's basic. It's they can go anywhere.
That's a one-time
with that.
purchase.
Exactly. A Prime sub is basically a $5 tip that gets you emote bonuses. That's what a Prime sub is, and they can choose to come back and give you that $5 tip every month that they want to. But seriously, like Zeke, in terms of a subscription, like if someone subscribes, they have to consciously go into their profile and cancel that subscription to stop giving you that money every month. Like you don't see that different from a one-time $5 tip?
Bare bones, no.
Okay, cool.
I think that
For my own like sense of pride, yes. Like I would much rather have a sub than a tip, for many reasons. But when you boil it down,
Same.
they are subbing because they're liking what they see right now, or they have liked what you see. They've liked what they've saw up till now.
Sure.
You know, in the past, they're not subbing for more content in the future. I don't think. I sub to people. When I subscribe to people, it's because I've enjoyed their content thus far.
I think that that's a really
Okay.
legitimate point. I think that there's nothing wrong with looking at it like that.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as far as
I personally find subscribing much more inclusive. Like I kind of see them as two different things. Because when you're subscribing, you're not only kind of pledging to potentially keep going, but you're saying like, hey, I'm opening a line of tipping to you. I'm not just giving you $5. I'm potentially starting a relationship with you where I could stay subbed and give you $5 a month for years. Like whenever I see like a 41-month sub come through my channel and I think about the math there, I'm like, this is a commitment for this person. This is not a tip. Like this is somebody who over 3+ years now has supported me in a dream that I have. Whereas like the tip side of it, it seems more like yeah, that was pretty cool what you did. Here's a $5. You know, it's I see tipping like if you're walking down the streets of New York and you see someone playing a guitar and you stand by them a little bit and you're like, man, this guy's pretty good. Let me throw a 5 in his tip jar. But then subbing is like coming by and being like, hey, are you here every week? Okay, here's $5. I'll see you next week and I'll give you another 5 then. And then he comes back next week and say, hey, you're still playing, you're still good. Here's another 5. You know, and it kind of like it's hey, someone just said in chat, perfect. It's like an open bar at a tab or an open tab at a bar.
Open tab.
An open tab bar.
I was gonna
yeah,
say
you know what
that.
I mean. But I kind of that's a good analogy too. But I don't know. But I will say to your point, Zeke, the big. I mean, what is a subtrain? A subtrain is a giant ball of hype that you sub because what's going on that second.
Right.
So, I mean, counter to my point, that's exactly why those happen.
Yeah.
So
I
I
mean,
don't know. I think there's a little of both in there, probably.
I
Well,
think-
let me answer the original question that I asked, and JP's going last on. Do we
I like you're
I'm
like,
gonna shut
and
up and look at
JP's
you,
gonna
I'm sorry."
fucking answer this, but anyways.
we owe our viewers anything? My answer is no. We do not owe our viewers anything. Do I feel a sense of duty and a sense of like ethically? Yes, of course. Of course. I feel like I need to, or I feel like I should, excuse me, I feel like I should broadcast on a regular schedule to make those subs worthwhile for anybody who has subbed. Do I feel like I owe them? Yes. Do I? No. Do I feel like it? Yes. But do I actually? No.
I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
Rephrase the original question so I answer it appropriately.
Owe your viewers anything?
I think that each channel is different on Twitch, and I think that with my channel, the majority, in fact, no data for this, this is just what I believe. I believe 60 to 90% of the subscribers on the channel don't give a fuck if I'm live. They're wanting to get access to the VODs, to watch roleplay content. And
You're in kind of a unique situation.
I'm in kind of a unique situation. So do I owe them anything? I owe them the VODs, and that's what they're paying for. I don't view
Which
my...
is theoretically your content, though.
It is totally, but it's already done. So that's what they're getting is what they're owed is what they get when they, subscribe monthly. I think of and this is definitely true in 2016 and 2017. I'm trying to improve on it. I think that the daily stream, the gaming stream, it's not daily because I do so many fucking shows, especially this past week. But when I do a solo gaming stream, a personal stream, as it were, I view that as kind of secondary content on the channel. And if someone is subscribing for that, then yeah, I probably owe them to be live. And that's why I have a schedule, because I'm going to try to be live at those certain times every single week. But apart from that, no, I don't owe them anything outside of that. Outside of the time that I have allotted every single week, no. If that is worth $5 a month to someone, then that's their decision of self-worth. I don't, that's on them. I don't care if it is to them or not. To me, I'll be live on those times. And if someone wants to subscribe for that and not to have anything to do with roleplay, and I've definitely seen subscribers on the channel have that thought process, then that's totally on their own. But I'm trying to not go past that. And, we were talking about earlier of setting boundaries of not working too hard or not streaming too much or ending a stream and thinking like, fuck, I overdid it. Like that was definitely true in 2016. Like I would do impromptu, like 13-hour streams, and I see it happening every week. And has Mondays on her day off. This week she streamed for like 7 hours on Monday. And so I think that, broadcasters are pulled to do things on their quote day off. I know Monday, for example, I had my day off. The entire time up until I got a call saying, hey, you got to move in 60 days. I was like, should I stream today? Like, should I actually just fucking stream? Like, maybe I just play more Mass Effect. But then I feel bad of saying like, well, I said I was going to play Mass Effect at this time on this day. If I stream it now, will that piss off the potential viewers that were going to be there on that day? So I probably shouldn't stream. And that's kind of the back and forth that's been going through my head. But to answer the original question, do I owe my viewers anything or my subscribers anything? I think they're already getting what they're paying for when they subscribe for roleplay VODs, and that's access to the VODs. And that's unique to my channel. I think every broadcaster is
and
unique.
also like it's written out. It's written out what you get for subbing.
It is, yeah.
And also, JP, you bring up
like you get this, and this.
Yeah.
It doesn't, nowhere on it does it say you get guaranteed content on every, on a schedule.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the hope from a subscriber, right? But it's not guaranteed. Sure. Yeah.
And don't get me wrong here. Like I'm sure a lot of people like heard that and heard me like it probably sounded very callous and very flippant and uncaring. That is not how I behave. That is not how I feel, or how I conduct business or conduct my broadcast or anything like that. Yeah. I do it because of a sense of duty to viewers and all that kind of stuff, of course. And I will do my best every single day to give you the best show I can possibly give you. But it's talking about principles, like the defining line, the bottom line of things.
Yeah,
is a different thing than all the fluff that sits on top of the bottom line.
Sure.
I feel like you made it pretty clear that you're talking like from a really like moral philosophical standpoint about do you owe someone something, and then you said that you personally feel like you do, but moralistically not the case. I felt like you said it well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying like if I put myself in the viewer's shoes and I subbed one day and then I found out the person that I was planning on watching for the next month is taking 2 months off for whatever reason. How would I feel about that?
Mm.
Well, I wouldn't feel too bad about it because the reason why I subbed was because the content up to that point was good enough to get my $5.
I think that it's also like this whole discussion is kind of evolving around everyone's personal purchasing behavior, where like you're saying, like when you sub, you're saying, wow, that shit was hilarious. Here's a sub. And when co-subs, he's thinking, I want to support this channel, this community, and I want to see future content. And I think that different viewers are going to have different approaches to why they decide to hit that button. And that's like to your sub train point, like a lot of people decide to hit that button during a sub train because they want to hop on the train and be along for the ride for the crazy cool thing that's happening at that moment.
Right.
Whereas opposed to if you're just having sort of a normal chill day and somebody comes in and says, been watching you for months, can't wait to see what the future holds. Here's my sub. I think that really it is there's a whole bunch of different reasons why people do it. And I don't think that there's one single like logical metric that you can say like, this is why everyone subs. I think we can all understand maybe why people sub to us. But like the general purchasing behavior of subscribing, if somebody could crack that code, they'd probably make everybody very rich.
Well, and kind of to go back to what JP said, because you guys just kind of perfectly articulated, both Zeke as well, kind of perfectly articulated the two sides. There's two different perspectives, and each one is valid because it's their own. there's what JP was talking about was our perspective. Every single broadcaster on Twitch makes their sub program theirs. They do different things. They have different features. JP's sub program features the fact that his subs get to see content earlier than other people. That's a huge incentive to his fans.
Yeah.
You know, we at the Coalition have our own sub plans. Zeke has, or sub kind of system. Same with
Ideas,
Zeke.
yeah.
Same with you, Bro. But on the exact same format, the viewers are also going to have expectations on their side. So when a viewer subs to someone, they're going to have their predefined expectations based on not only their own experience, but other Twitch people they've subbed to, and they're going to use those expectations to kind of base what they're going to do in your channel with your sub. So it's not that any of this is wrong, but it's just a whole bunch of different ways to kind of, and different angles to look at both the sub program and those that are choosing to utilize the sub program. So there's no wrong answers, but it most importantly, there's no, just like you were saying a second ago, Pro, like figuring out the golden sub program. That program wouldn't work for everyone.
Yeah.
The
That's
challenge
true. Yeah.
is finding the golden sub program for you. That's
Absolutely.
finding the best sub program that works for your content, what you do. I'd arguably say JP found his. I'm very close to saying I found mine. Zeke is doing a great job on yours, and you probably have too, Bro. But a lot of streamers haven't yet. A lot of big streamers haven't in some cases. And
Absolutely.
it's like, that's so underutilized. I mean, you have this great system you could tap into that you're just like not doing anything with. But yeah, it's interesting to see how people do that.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's interesting to see what you do with adding value to people who subscribe. Like, you can make it a really open and honest environment. Like that's kind of how I run my sub program. If we're going to talk about it, like I run a really open environment. None of my content's paywalled. I never paywall chat. I never paywall anything. And the only reason I want someone to sub is because they want to see more content. So like I guess I'm with you there. Like my promise is more content. Like that's why you subscribe. And the reason I ran things like that, and I still do, is because I feel like that builds loyalty, because I know the people are there and they're there for the content, and you know, come what may, that's why they're there. If I had other programs set up, what if I get tired and I don't feel like doing X, Y, or Z sub special thing because I'm tired, you know? So part of it is because I like that's just how I view things. And then the other side of it is like, I feel like it builds loyalty. But, you know, everybody does things differently, you know, sub only chat or the VODs thing, which is like, JP, I'll be honest, I had no idea that was something that you did.
Right.
And it's like fucking super genius.
Well,
it's very smart. And it's a very interesting approach to using the feature to lock your VODs, because I've never seen it used like that.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate that, but it also, there's another side of the coin. Perfect example, when this whole the Shorty Awards things went out on Monday.
Oh yeah,
there's
I saw that. I was hoping we are going to talk about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about it for sure, briefly, because there's a lot of stuff I want to talk about in here. So many different points are coming up, but when that was introduced on Monday, you know, I got thrown into a group of probably 3 million followers, 4 million followers, probably even more, probably like 6 million followers on Twitch, right? A bulk of other streamers. And the majority of those people that are going to that page and voting for all these people will generally look at the rest of the list and look at the profiles. If they go to my profile, there's a link to my VODs, and what they see is this VOD is behind a paywall. You need to pay to see this. Yeah. So it's immediately a gigantic turnoff to new viewers. And that's happened a ton before. In the past 4 or 5 years I've been doing this, since I've had sub VODs, is like, your VODs, I'm not going to fucking watch you. Your VODs are behind a paywall. Why would I fucking watch this? Like, why is your content worth $5 and everyone else's is free?
And see, then what you do is you get other casters to come on your show, and that way they're not really paying for you. They're paying for them.
Potentially.
Oh, shit. Did I just crack your code?
I mean, maybe. I don't know. I mean, that's definitely a process.
Listen. There's an old actor phrase that went around for a long time. It applies to JP's channel. The actor phrase was, everybody does Star Trek. So every caster does JP's channel.
There you go.
At some point or another.
Yeah, that's the goal at least. But yeah, one thing that I do want to talk about is in the article you start talking about the cheering beta and the idea that Twitch made its broadcasters, the PR mouthpiece and
Run the PR for that.
Yeah, and for the first week or two, I remember when it was going on, I would go into CohhCarnage channel, or I would even stream myself, and it was nonstop. What is cheering? What is bits?
What is this?
How does that work? And at some point, I kind of thought, as I was reading through the articles, it wasn't really Twitch making us the PR. It was the community asking their broadcasters to explain it for them. Like, could they have had a landing page to explain what was going on? But
just to add to that, it's not only explaining it, it's inadvertently vouching for it.
That's also true.
It's not only saying what the program is, because the next inevitable question is, okay, Co, you just explain what cheering is to me. Should I do it? I had someone today ask me straight up, should I tip you or should I cheer you? And it's like
that's the thing that it's so hard. And I guess maybe that's what I'm talking about with PR, because I'm not talking about the launch. I'm not talking about like, here's what it is, explain it, because that that's going to happen in the industry. But then it's damage control. Because like I was part of the group of casters that got it early, so I was getting it from peers. You son of a bitch! Fuck you! You get access to this money that I don't have access to. I hope you die. So I'm getting it there, and then I'm getting it from viewers. What the fuck is this Twitch money grab? How do you feel about this? Aren't you angry? Aren't you mad? Like, so like there was this groundswell of just infuriation that came from
infuriation. Nice.
People were mad because they didn't understand this new thing, and they were used to the economic environment of Twitch. I sub or I tip, or I can watch ads. And then Twitch introduced this thing and we all know how much the gaming community loves microtransactions, that looks just like a microtransaction, okay? And suddenly, one day, it just shows up in their chat, and they're being told to buy it. And that was the PR disaster with bits, in my opinion, was that when it was launched, it wasn't explained well enough. It became our job to explain how it worked, and then it became our job to vouch for this program or not vouch for this program.
The biggest issue, and is still an issue to this day, is the fact that bits cost more than tipping.
Absolutely.
End of story. In some cases, significantly. And it's like, at that point, we become the person that has to say, this is why you're giving Twitch more money. And we are telling you to do it. Like, it's just,
and it took a while for us to be able to say that on broadcast too. If you remember at the start of that, it was like, yeah, you can't.
We were all very concerned. We didn't know what to do.
You probably shouldn't say that.
We're not all PR people.
Yeah.
A lot of us, in fact, have no PR experience. So to be put in that position where we're basically becoming a spokesman for a pilot program is just like
it was very overwhelming when the beta launched. And I feel like when Twitch introduces new stuff, they have to take into consideration like the full scope of it. Like Bits has, like I said, it changed the economic environment on Twitch. It's introduced something that people can get excited about, but it also introduced something that people can get super sad about. Like, I'll have people that tune into my channel and they'll check to see if they can watch ads for Bits that day. Oh, no ads for Bits. Well, see you tomorrow, bro, man. Like, that sort of behavior didn't exist before Bits or ads for Bits. So it's just as Twitch grows, every small change that they make, I feel like they need to run more interference so that way everybody who's on the ground floor doesn't end up having to do the damage control.
Definitely. I think Bits was kind of the first program that Twitch did that I guess, to put it bluntly, like forced the PR on its broadcasters, right? There was nothing. I mean, subscribing is something that we explained, but that's very simple. You give us, you subscribe $5 a month and you get X. That's it. We can't talk about the split. That's one of the general rules of thumb. But apart from that, it's a pretty basic program. So I think, and I guess my hope is that with the introduction of cheering and with Bits, that Twitch learned so much from that it does not happen again.
Yeah.
I'm really hoping so, dude. That is the hope. That is the hope.
Yeah. And that's not to say I'm upset of like there's no question that the majority of the people on this call, the majority of people on Twitch that are of equal level, if not bigger than us, have made $1,000, $2,000, thousands of dollars from the bit program. But with
Sure.
that said, it was still really rough in the beginning because
Yeah,
we were,
and that's
we were alienating a lot of our audience by, this bit program's on the channel. It's pretty cool. Oh, well, do you prefer tips or cheering? Can I answer that?
Am I allowed? No.
I prefer tipping day 3. Yeah, no, you
And
should just tip and not cheer on the channel. Like that was kind of the process.
Yeah, that's what I said. And that's the internet wants open and honest conversation about everything. So when you're told like they want to know the rev share split, like how much is one bit worth to you, and all this other stuff, and things that, if you were in the beta, you were barred from talking about that stuff, and which just adds to more aggravation, and then you get accused of being a shill and all this other stuff. So like that was the way that you get accused of being a shill. So that was my favorite.
Yeah.
Dude, having like the split was staring people in the face. Like if you
it was so obvious.
There's the split. But then we're told like, don't talk about that. But it's like but it's right there.
I click on the thing and it's right there.
Yeah. How much is a bit worth? Well,
do the math.
Look at the program. I can't tell you.
So take A and you subtract B.
People really want to know what like their dollar value. Like we get that question all the time with games. Should I buy this game? We get that question all the time with subbing. Should I sub? What do I get for subbing? And I think maybe culturally one of the pivots that Twitch might need to make on a corporate level is being really open about changes like that. Here is what we are getting out of this. Here is what your broadcaster is getting out of this. Because if they can talk about that dichotomy so we don't have to, it takes a huge burden off of the broadcaster when a pilot program is launched, because someone can just go to the page. Because I couldn't even tell people, I could go to the blog article and then they come back and they're like, it didn't tell me what I wanted to know. It didn't tell me how much money you're getting for bits or what the split is like. People want to know what their money is doing everywhere. And Twitch is on the internet where that culture of tell me everything is even more intensified.
Yeah. It gets a little weird too, because at some point you have to consider that there are broadcasters and they have every right to be able to have this thought and this type of decision that they don't want people knowing what they get from a bit. They don't want people to know what the actual split is, because they don't want people to be able to sit there and pull up an Excel spreadsheet, figure out how much they're making a month, and then come to them and say, you make this much a month? Holy shit. Like, they got to respect that as a company facilitating all of these streamers, right? So it's a really weird line.
It is a weird line. I hadn't considered that side of it. No, that's also a good point. But I think that a pros and cons list or like something coming out with launches would assist in talking about everything. Yeah. Because I feel like walling it off, like saying you can't look behind this door, it just doesn't work very well.
Yeah, it is a little rough. Zeke, do you want to weigh in on any of that? Any thoughts on it?
No, I think you pretty much covered it. We talked the bid thing to death when it first came out, and we had, the People's Champ on here to
Bobby,
to explain kind of what was going on with it.
Yeah.
And I really don't have, like, you pretty much said everything that I want to say. I understand the negative comments of being called a shill and all that kind of stuff, and how I dealt with that, like what very little I got, because I'm sure you guys got tons more than I did. But what I did with that, I told them, like, until it opens up for everybody, every bit that I take in, I'm just going to give to charity, which I did.
Yeah. And that was also another thing that we kind of.
You still do that, or was that
no? Until it was opened up, like to all partners or whatever.
That was another thing that we.
As there are now, I guess.
That we skipped over a tiny bit was the idea that there was only 25 broadcasters that were able to use the program for a week or something like that.
Yeah. Another thing that I really hope that Twitch learned from.
Yeah, that's like, not good.
That was
it really, alienates.
Like, here's the deal.
Look, if I have to get one more tweet from spam, I'm done, Twitch. All right, I'm fucking.
If Twitch introduces a feature for testing, that's fine, right? Whatever. Pick your little subgroup and get that done. That's fine. if you are introducing a feature that is going to make casters money, that's a completely different thing. Like,
Should
it's
introduce
cool
it
to
at
do
a-
little tiny focus groups for new random testing and playlisting and stuff like that. Totally fine. But when it's the like difference of income,
Yeah. It's a
yeah,
little rough.
that needs to be like, they like put out a form, send out an email to partners who wants to be in this program, get the feedback, et cetera, et cetera. Now, to be fair, I will say that I heard with the BITS program specifically, there were legal issues to why they couldn't go like to a lot of different countries and a lot of
They
different
couldn't
places.
go internationally at first
exactly.
because of the
So there were
legal- yeah.
legal issues, and they had to test the system before it went out.
Yeah.
So that's like one of those little things where it's like,
So
okay,
There's,
but
there's
even
always
then,
there's always a caveat though, like Zachariel lives in the UK and he had access to bits, so that's kind of a bullshit excuse for them to say they couldn't do it to spam, right? Like,
I mean,
I just want to put that out there.
another thing that that I think Bits, at least the ad farming for Bits, has introduced that I think is interesting is that
That's great.
it's great that people can do it. It blows that people can't do it internationally. I don't know. Have you guys had people express how terribly depressed and sad they are now that they can't farm
Oh,
as
dude,
many
same
ads
thing
for
for
Bits
Twitch Prime.
because it's not holiday time anymore and ad
Yeah.
sales go down because that's just the way the internet works.
watching
you know?
bits for ads, Twitch Prime, like there are a lot of things that are unfortunately geographically restricted, and that super sucks. I wish Twitch could find a way around it, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want everyone to have everything.
I want bits for subs.
I want Bits
Yeah.
for subs too.
Everybody does, I'm sure.
Yeah. I hope that they expand that program. They need to expand that program because right now it's
I think it'll happen.
kind of floundering.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they're gonna roll out all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
But and it's coming. It's coming pretty quickly, all things considered. Like all the new features with the bits are coming, pretty
True.
pretty quick.
For sure. Yeah. I feel like
I think money is a great motivator.
totally. Yeah, totally. If the program's making more money, then yeah, they're going to put more into it. Definitely. I feel like the only I wouldn't say success. The only viewable success that I've seen for a lot of for the bit program is people that use the cup. I feel like that is the number one generator for bits. Is the cup.
Cup's fun.
I'm really
Cup's
torn
fun.
on the cup.
But the
dude.
cup is
I
the cup. I mean, it's literally
I find it so insanely distracting, dude.
it
Like,
is
it's
100%.
just-
Yeah.
I do cup sometimes. Like I did cup over the holidays, so that way, because everyone was suddenly generating all these ads for bits, and I was like, okay, well, we'll put the cup out because you can have fun with it. But like now, when it's a lean time on the bit farm, I take the. I have a guy that uses bits every day, and he gives me the status of his farm every time he uses bits. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, but like right now, so I have it out there because it's being used, but it's like adding an overlay asset that might or might not be used. And like right now, if there's no cheering going on, it's just a random, people will be like, what's up with that see-through trash can on your stream? I don't understand.
Every time I
what
see a
that's
cup,
about.
I think again, going back to the guy in New York doing his songs on the side of the street with the cup in front of him.
Yeah.
Every time I see the cup, I think of them like holding it up and being like, hey, remember you can give me money.
Yeah.
Yeah, filthy gypsy. Yeah.
It's funny too. They've
But I'll tell you this.
It's
I
like
will
the
tell you this. That
Asian goal. It's like, it's I don't know.
yeah. Go ahead, Zeke.
tell you this, you are losing money. You are losing bits for not having it on there. I guarantee.
Oh,
you.
100% you are. Yeah. I've seen broadcasters who don't
Me
use
too.
the
I don't
cup,
have one either.
who put the cup on, and it's like just showered with like 300,000 bits in one night. I'm just like, well, fuck. I mean, that's that's like $300 that he just wouldn't have if he didn't put that up there, or they wouldn't have it if they didn't put it up there. But yeah, like it. I hope that there's subscribers do notifications on stream. Subscribe, you pull the name down. That's kind of the golden thing. With bits, no one fucking knows. You say, hey, thanks for the cheering. It pops down. It's not that cool. The cup generates and promotes the idea of constant tipping, but then you have a giant fucking cup on your screen. So like they have not figured out the way to signify that on a stream. A broadcaster has not Twitch. It's not really Twitch's job.
I have to sometimes I flip the cup so that it's hiding behind me. So if somebody dunks the cup, it looks like I'm puking bits.
Nice. Oh, because it goes out that way? That's cool.
Yeah. So I flip the whole overlay asset so it'll like.
So
I'll
wait,
eat
when the
them.
bits drop in, are you like, oh?
Yeah. Like they
That's
can
pretty
Pac-Man 'em.
cool.
You could be like,
that's cool.
I kind of
Okay.
like that. I
Yeah.
might. That's pretty good.
I gotta admit,
hey, there you go.
That's pretty
I
good.
don't
I might
remember what the
actually do that.
reason was, but I gotta say, like, the fun uses of it are different. Like, I was watching
Yeah.
Abel Baru, and at one point he did it so like every 10,000 cheer would add a cup to the stream.
Oh,
So at one
God.
point he had like 13 cups going, and his like little screen was in the top left. And anytime someone would do some bits, it was like this cacophony of stuff on the screen. That was
Jesus.
Yeah. Didn't
And
that
then
crash his
it's like
stream?
every 10,000 cheer could add or remove a cup, and it's like that. Just it was a crazy day in Baru's channel. I'll just say
That's
that.
pretty funny.
But I mean, that's more creativity than I'd say the cup itself.
No, yeah, and like things like that are fun,
Yeah.
but it's not something you can do every day. And that's the golden rule is like you have to find some sort of overlay asset that you're comfortable using constantly that's both effective but not overwhelming, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, like Pukey Bit Cup was hilarious the first day, but then I did it the next day and everyone was like, "The fuck is this shit? This is stupid. Do something else funny, man.
Yeah.
Be funnier."
It definitely is a gimmick. That's a good gimmick, though. I do quite like that. Having it go out from your body. It's cool. Zeke, you were about to mouth a
Well,
word there. Go ahead.
It's just that age old question, like how much are you willing to take? Like how as a viewer, how much are you willing to take? How much pop-up notifications,
Oh yeah.
distractions, how much are you willing to take? Because my stream is definitely full of them. But there are certain lines that I'm just like and I'll just be straight up front. Like the big cup thing on the screen seems a little fucking tacky to me. I don't know. But I fucking put on a demon voice and goddamn scream at new subscribers. Or
Sure.
I put on a goddamn Viking helmet when someone raids. So it's what are you willing to take?
Yeah.
We all have our lines. Zeke. I'm the
Exactly,
exact
right?
same way, dude.
Totally.
The exact same way.
Totally.
I'm sitting here being like, I don't want to put a cup on the screen. Good damn!
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we all got our limits.
For sure. Brahman, is there any other? I feel like I think I ask everything I want, but is there any other conversations you want to pull from this article?
No, I mean I feel like we discussed it in its totality. And at least the points that I was trying to drive home about it. And I mean, just to do a little bit of like explaining, no, I don't think that IRL is going to be the death bells of Twitch, but I think that it's important to, when you start a discussion, you have to start from a point. And I wrote that article with the assumption that big changes could happen from small things. And so I'm excited about IRL, but I'm also obviously nervous about it. And
Sure.
I think that, and I'm not nervous about it because like I'm lazy and I don't want to change. I'm nervous about it because cultural changes on Twitch like dictate how we all act as broadcasters. From the introduction of bits to Prime subs, every time they make a change, it changes the culture of what it's like to do our job. And I feel like I was doing a broadcast. I do a broadcast with my brother, Streaming 101, and we did a year in review for 2016 to talk about all the things that changed on Twitch. And change fatigue is a real thing. Like if things change too much too quick, people just like sit there and they finally roll their eyes and they're like, fuck this, I'm done. This is too much. And last year was the introduction of a shit ton of new features on Twitch. So after they launched this IRL, the broadcasting app, I hope they are done for a minute and they let everything sort of settle before they start introducing more new features, if that makes sense.
Couldn't agree more, Probro. And the more important thing is I hope that all of this was a serious lesson that no matter how big, no matter how small a feature is, you need to let your partners know before it goes live. Dropping features on us when we have lots of question about them, like that, I can't stress enough how much I hope Twitch has learned that there's nothing good that will come from dropping feature bombs on its casters.
I will also say that doesn't mean you need to fly us to fucking San Francisco. That means
Just
No.
an email.
Just pick up a
an
phone.
Email.
Great.
It could be 24 hours.
We all
before the
have one of
feature
these
goes live.
right here.
Just give us a second to think about what we're gonna say. Don't have us like log in the morning and be like, oh, look at that.
Yeah, we're all under
Whoa.
NDA. Here's what you do. Put in the email. Don't fucking tweet that something crazy is happening tomorrow on Twitch. Second thing, don't fucking talk about this. Hey, by the way, we're introducing a new thing tomorrow. There you go. Like,
Absolutely.
I don't know. I like surprises.
don't get me wrong. I love surprises too, but
I like them too, but
Especially
too
if
many
they make
surprises.
me money.
that's true.
Too many surprises. It gets exhausting.
Yeah.
It gets exhausting. People get mentally fatigued.
Totally.
And
No, Tino's is right. 100% people will tweet or talk about it. Of course they will.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
then
that's-
fucking do
I-
something
That's
about
the
it.
thing,
They're
though.
behind
Like,
an
that's
NDA.
totally cool.
For a
Like wait for
reason.
the window where you're okay with the feature getting out.
Getting
But
leaked.
it's just still so
Yeah.
important. Like especially for someone like me that has a lot of custom tech on their channel. Like I need to have time to prepare my channel for some of these features coming out. We were totally sidelined with cheering. Like we spent a week just in complete go mode trying to get everything caught up so our cheering would properly
Right.
the bots could read it properly, everything could track properly, everything would work like that took a long time. So, and granted, there's very few percent of channels that have to worry about that. People have to get in the mental mindset of being able to deal with that kind of stuff. And that takes more than a few hours.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But and granted, Twitch has gotten pretty good about it, especially recently. And, but still, we definitely want to see that direction and definitely hope we keep going that direction.
Yeah, I do want to say something. A lot of people are like, well, why would Twitch want to prosecute people? You don't have to You don't have to fucking take us to court. Just don't include them in the next one of these things. Like there has to be some
you
sort of
just take them off the
ramification
list.
of
Absolutely.
fucking up. Like we sign we are businesses. You are a business. You need to have some sort of give and take. It's not just, oh, well, that guy's got 300,000 followers and tweeted there's something big coming tomorrow. It generates hype. No, you fucking don't include him next time. Like there's got to be a
and
ramification.
Here's another good way to think about it. Twitch takes a percentage of our subscription money.
Right.
That means that every month I am paying Twitch a lot of money just for being on their service.
Sure.
Wait, we
Like-
don't get the full $5?
Wait, what?
But with that mindset of thinking, like it's in Twitch's interest, it's in our interest to keep us fully informed so we can keep all of that beautiful ratio that they have suspended right now continuing in a positive way. Like
I agree.
without including us in that kind of stuff, it can mean that they're not only risking us, but also the money we get for them. Like
Sure, yeah.
there's so little reasons that shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
It just seems weird when it does.
Yeah, I got triggered. That's all that happened is I got triggered. And nothing happened. The whole like 300,000 thing is just a number I made up before you guys witch hunt in chat. But yeah, it just fucking don't be pushovers, Twitch. Like enforce some shit. You guys have the right to do that. I don't know what those enforcements are, but you are the business. I'm not. I'm just saying enforce it as a broadcaster. I think everyone else on here would agree, but we got 15 minutes till break. I want to propose something, a question that I've been thinking about a lot, and this article kind of brought
I
it
do,
up.
JP.
Okay, I'm sorry, Zeke. I can't.
That was the proposal. Oh.
The idea of like bringing IRL was obviously to bring in more numbers for Twitch and bring in a new dynamic to Twitch. Do you guys think that the growth on Twitch the past 6 months has been the same growth the past 2 years? Like, is Twitch still growing as fast as it used to? And I'm not talking about your own numbers. I'm talking about as a site. Are the viewerships increasing as much as they used to?
I think there's a reason we don't have access to those metrics.
But you could make a estimation, could you not?
No, I'm just saying like that's the kind of thing that comes in waves. So even if in the last 6 months there hasn't been a general increase, like there could have been in the last 3 years phenomenally upward.
Yeah.
So it just comes down to perspective on the data. Now, in terms of your actual question,
That's
not
true.
necessarily. There hasn't been a lot of big events. There hasn't been a lot of stuff that Twitch is promoting. I don't think they're running ads on television. I don't think like you can build it and they may come, but you also have to encourage them to come or let people know you've built it. And I don't know if they're doing that. They're not. I mean, if they are, which more credit to them, that's awesome. I don't know they are.
Yeah.
Not that I even know where to look to check if they are. So it's the kind of
Are you guys hearing that or no?
What?
Cool.
Back to
I wonder if
off.
that's. I wonder if that's coming up on the stream.
Are you talking about a snap?
I
No,
hear
no.
nothing but talking.
Oh,
Oh, I hear that.
I hear
my
a
headset
crinkling of
right
a
now.
Doritos chip.
I don't know what that is.
sounds like someone's making Rice Krispies.
Twitch heard that. That was
I
very
will say
weird.
this, though. I feel like there was a lot of very positive Twitch growth around the time that they were running those tournaments with ESPN and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I remember looking at a few channels and being like, the top end channels, not mine, because I think that was a little bit low on the totem pole. But some of the top end channels, it'd be like, this guy has like a large percentage more viewers than normal. And the top channels kind of got that, especially those that were on the front page.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know. We are not privy to that information.
We aren't,
we don't know
yeah.
what initiatives they're doing.
We only
you know.
can guesstimate.
I think that Twitch has gotten to a point where it's very established, and the people who want to come to Twitch or who might know about Twitch have kind of found it. And I think that you bring up a really good point, Co, and that when they begin to work with other entertainment entities is when everybody sees more growth. Because right now I feel like Twitch is at a point where like that natural growth of people being like, oh shit, I can watch video games, like that's kind of done. And so doing more advertising outside of the domain that already exists for the conversation might serve Twitch as a whole better. I think they're going to naturally grow now, but that slows down. I would love to see Twitch do ads on TV.
Dude,
or
I'd love to
something
see
like that.
Twitch have a cable channel. I'd love to see Twitch have like a channel where they pick casters to go on it in 2-hour blocks every day. And it's like, cool, you made the
that'd be
two-partner spotlight? Awesome. Well, you get 2 hours on the
Here you
channel.
go.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, there's all sorts of shit they could do to do stuff like that. Or, like,
Absolutely.
because for the longest time when I first started on Twitch, I kept thinking to myself, why has a major cable or like organization not bought Twitch yet? Like, this is clearly making money. This is clearly something that a lot of people really enjoy. This is a completely unique environment that there's no question people like watching. Why is this not mainstream?
Probably because they couldn't
'Cause it
pay
could
for
be.
it. They couldn't afford Twitch is probably what it was.
Maybe.
I think that,
Maybe.
but yeah,
But
but
also,
moving
like having an entire channel is there's a lot that goes into that. Like,
Yeah.
as far as
No question. There's no question. They would have to basically open a new arm of the company.
Yeah.
And even then, I mean, you're talking. Think of the competition.
Yeah, I think that's going backwards, but I understand what you're saying.
That's a surface level idea. There's
Yeah.
nothing that.
But
There's not deeper.
That's why
than that.
I mean, taking the conversation about something outside of its traditional sphere of influence was that's why I wrote the article for Polygon, because we all talk about this on Twitch all the time, you know, between each other and maybe on stream occasionally. But I wrote the article for Polygon to have the conversation out there in the public eye in a location that it doesn't usually happen. You know, and I think the more Twitch can get eyes on what Twitch is from people who might like it but probably haven't heard of it organically yet is going to help Twitch grow. Huge.
Yeah.
Super Bowl commercial.
You know what? Actually, I will say that the really good point was just brought up in chat, actually by Spamfish, where it's like a big thing of Twitch that makes it special is the variety and being able to find what you want to watch when
Absolutely.
you want to watch it. So, you know, that's a really good point. Twitch may not necessarily work well on TV, but you know, of course, there's crossovers. There's channels that could work well on TV and some that wouldn't. And you know, Twitch is a smart company. I'm sure they could figure something out.
I'm sure they could.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see.
I think I've got a
fuck
ghost.
are you doing, JP?
I've got a ghost in my computer. I'm not kidding. I'm just sitting here, and there's random static that just builds up in my left ear. And like nothing is
And
happening.
then it pops.
Well, it doesn't pop. It just builds, and then it goes away. It happened. It happened once the other night, and then it happened again. This is the first time it's ever happened live. It's just really odd. I've never experienced that before. And so then I took I took the left ear down to see if it was still there, and it still was. So that's what people were freaking out about. But it's a weird thing. I don't know. Thankfully, I'm moving because the fucking ghosts are gonna try to kill me for the next 60 days. We got about 10 minutes till the break. Brian, man, as we do talk about games here, what did
sometimes.
well,
There is one thing I wanted to bring up about the article.
okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
You talk about like streaming all the time and doing that kind of stuff. What in your opinion is the negatives of streaming all the time? Like why shouldn't a person do that in your opinion?
It's a good question. Physical health, mental health, exhaustion, pretty much any of the telltale markers of overexerting yourself in any career are also present on Twitch. Long-term streaming all the time, sitting in a chair, like there are a host of problems that come from long-term overextending yourself. So,
right, but
short term,
it's tough to tell people that because they're trying. It's like trying to tell someone
that's
small business off the ground.
Yeah, and that's thank you for bringing this up. We talked about this on my stream the day after I wrote the article. I think that there is definitely a point in time and where for everyone where you're getting a small business off the ground, you bust your ass to make that happen, and that's part of it, right? It's part of it. It's what's expected. It's what you have to do. But there's always an end goal in mind, right? Like if you're starting a small business, your business is established, you made it, now you get to chill a little bit. And I think that for a lot of us, we don't consider or even know when we're supposed to start dialing back. When have I made it? When have I become successful enough that I no longer feel like that is my priority? If your priority is,
I mean, I just answered your question right now.
You never dial it back, ever.
never.
But please continue.
But yeah, every pay someone brought up the paying dues phase. Like that's totally true. But even inside of paying dues, like just this year or last year, the Association of Medical Professionals in the United States kind of upended the interning practices that they had for new doctors in hospitals because it was making hospitals unsafe to have these new doctors there for 100 hours a week, literally 100 hours in a high stress medical situation where they are controlling whether or not somebody lives or dies. So even when you're paying your dues to sort of break in, there is a point where the value that you are going to derive from your investment begins to drop off. So thinking about that, even if you're just trying to bust your ass and grow, and trying to find the moments where you feel like this is where my growth happens is important. And I think it's an important insight that you should have from the beginning of your broadcasting career. Or if you're, 4 years into it, it's something I think you should constantly be looking at. So I think the negative of streaming all the time, constantly, along with, all of the potential side effects, is that eventually the quality of your content is going to degrade, and you make a first impression on Twitch once every 20 seconds or more. It's the first time someone's going to see you, and that is a horrifying statistic.
Jesus, don't tell me that. I'm just gonna say, like, fuck you, dude.
But
I never even thought about that. I hate you now.
Yeah, but that's the reality. And keeping that in mind and saying, okay, I could grind all day, I could broadcast for 16 hours today, but once you hit hour 12 and you're sitting there like, bleh, like nobody's gonna tune in and decide to follow you.
Right.
You're being counterproductive for your own growth.
Do you believe there's a time after really, really trying and grinding for however long? Do you believe there's a time to hang it up? Say like that I can't. It's not going to happen.
I had a hang it up time for me when I started broadcasting. I grew my community to a certain point. I thought I have a shot at this, and I gave myself 6 months of doing 8-hour. This is before my crazy grind started. I gave myself 6 months of streaming like a full-time job, like 8 hours a day and all this other stuff. And I said, if I don't make it in 6 months, I will relegate streaming to hobby status and I will continue my traditional career pursuits. So I definitely think that it's healthy and that you should set boundaries for yourself and say, okay, I want to try and make this work. I'll give myself a year. And if it works out, awesome. If not, move on. And that works on Twitch and it works for everything else too. If you're trying super hard to be a doctor and you take your first anatomy class and you just fucking can't, maybe try to do a different job. There's nothing wrong with that.
More importantly, there's a harsh reality aspect where you have to, especially if you have people that are dependent on you. Like I think we talked about this either last week or maybe I talked about it on my stream, but it's the kind of thing where, when someone is calling themselves a full-time streamer and they've been streaming for over a year as a full-time streamer, and within 2 months they're having to run 2 GoFundMes to pay their bills, it's kind of like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah, that's another problem entirely, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it kind of ties into this, because that's that expectation where it's like, you get to a point where it's like, okay, I'm a full-time streamer now. I need to put all the hours of my day into this to be successful and make money. And then it's like, it gets to the point where they do put in all the hours of the day to try to make money, and they don't. And it's like, not only are you completely overstressing yourself and putting in way more hours than you should, but you are not maintaining enough to support you and your kid in this case. And it's like, this is like, someone needs to sit down with this dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's really unfortunate, especially when other people like that get involved, like older folks or parents are supporting or children or stuff like that. And that is a problem on Twitch, especially these days when getting a sub button is so much easier than it used to be. But unfortunately, a lot of the community sees that same end goal of, I got a sub button now, I can be a full-time streamer. Awesome. And as someone who has seen that crash and burn now multiple times, it's kind of like, slow down. Like, you get to the point where streaming supports, where you are paying your bills with streaming, then you're a full-time streamer, not the other way around. And for people in chat that are like, wow, I'm angry and stuff like that, I have seen people lose great jobs because they have jumped into streaming thinking they're a full-time streamer. Then they go back and that job isn't there anymore. And all of a sudden they're out of work for months, and they have to move out of their apartment because they don't have enough money to get there. And then they're doing GoFundMes and not even streaming anymore. And then it's just like, it's an avoidable situation.
It can really blow up in your face.
Yeah.
Streaming is this. Streaming, like making it your living, is exactly like trying to make your living as a dancer, a singer, actor.
Yes.
Anything like that, because there's so many variables in what will make you blow up or actually or even like get enough to survive on, and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So there's just no guarantees. It's like, if you love it, like that's what I was gonna do. Like if this didn't work out, I was gonna move to LA and try and be an actor.
Right.
Any way I could. And it was going to be a very, very sad, poor time, like poor money-wise time for me.
Well, yeah, sure.
I was mentally prepared for that. I was like, you know what? It's about time. I'm going to fucking try and do this acting thing. And Twitch started becoming a viable option. Now, obviously, here I am.
Yeah.
But that was on the plate. I was like, I'm going to go be very, very poor in LA and try and make it.
It's a transitional point.
Totally.
You need to approach it as something you can transition into, instead of just because you declare something to be true doesn't mean it's true.
Yeah,
I can say all day I'm flying, but I'm still walking on the ground.
Sure. I had a personal experience with this where my cousin was like, yeah, I want to be a Twitch streamer. He's like, he's freshman in high school. It's like, yeah, I want to be a Twitch streamer when I grow up. Because he comes over to the house and sees that I do pretty well for myself, etc. And I had to have a serious conversation with his parents where I'm just like, he can't, you probably shouldn't let him do that. Like, of the 17,000 partners on Twitch, or whatever that number is, probably much more now than, that's what they said at TwitchCon, I think. There's probably 1,000 that make a living, like a decent living. And then of those 1,000, there's probably 100 that make a really good living. Like the margins there, when you consider all the numbers, is just not, it's not there. It's not feasible.
Especially in the last year.
Yeah, especially in the last year.
By the way, quick side question. Professor Broman, am I right thinking that you run a weekly or bi-weekly podcast about how to start streaming on Twitch?
Yes, Streaming 101 with me and T-Rex. That's we do Q&A, and then we tackle like specific topics, whether it's like audio setup or building a community or handling finance.
Do you guys do that on a schedule or whenever?
Mondays, usually Mondays in the afternoon is when we do it. We didn't do it for a while, and we're trying to get back into it. Yeah, I mean, Who's Sam? My brother. We rotate it, so it's
you rotate channels. Okay.
Yeah, it's either Professor Broman or T-Rex. But
Is there time?
Usually, I mean, we try and get started by 7 p.m. Eastern.
I'd love to check it out if
come stop by and as we formulate our plan for the year and going forward, like we love bringing on guests to talk about like specific topics. One of the things that we wanted to talk about recently or coming up soon is like community building and things like that, and so we'd love to get some folks on for that. But yeah,
cool.
It's a fun thing.
That's the most common question that I get, and I'm sure.
Yeah, that's why we started doing it, because it's how do I start streaming? What do I do? I don't even. I'm so lost. How do I set up alerts and all this other stuff? So rather than giving like a flippant one sentence answer, even like you want to help these people, right? Like I always want to share what I love to do with somebody, but like you just can't. When you're in the middle of doing your normal broadcast. So that's why we picked like 2 hours every week to just talk about specifically that.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's good for sure. Are all those VODs on your YouTube channel? If people want to go watch
they're
them?
all on my YouTube channel. And then they're on iTunes as well under Streaming 101.
Cool. Final question I have for you, and then we'll let you do some shout outs because I know you got to get out of here.
Sure.
How did that end up on Polygon? What was that process?
They reached out to me.
Really?
Yeah, I was I'd gotten in contact with one of the folks that writes for them regularly. I can't remember his name right now because I'm horrible. But I was going to write an article about speedrunning and charity for them a while ago. Mm-hmm. And that sort of never panned out. And he saw a tweet that I made about IRL, like basically like the thesis statement of the article that I wrote. And he was like, hey, I would love to. This looks like it would be a good article. Would you feel comfortable writing something for us? So yeah, he reached out, and then I got in contact with everyone over there, and that's how it ended up on Polygon.
Cool. Yeah, I hope that more streamers as articulate as yourself continue to do these type of articles, because we just spent an hour and a half talking about it, and it was a great topic for us to talk about here on the show. So thank you so much for writing that, and also for coming on the show. You want to do some shout outs?
Sure. Hi, I'm Professor Broman. You can follow me on twitch.tv/Professor Broman, Twitter, Professor Broman, YouTube, the aptly named Ben WCA, because they wouldn't let me change it after I started uploading videos. And we also do Streaming 101, which will be on my brother's channel every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern. And that's about it.
Fantastic stuff. Thanks again so much for coming on. We're going to talk about the Nintendo Switch. Give me 5 seconds. Give me 5 words on the Nintendo Switch. If you can, bro, man.
5 words on the Nintendo
5 words.
Switch.
You gotta. This is unprompted. Unprecedented, even.
It seems neat. Perhaps, maybe.
Perfect. I think that's going to encapsulate our conversation, but we'll find out more. Professor Broman, thanks again for coming on, dude. Have a wonderful evening. You going to be streaming tonight? Streaming tomorrow? When do you stream?
My next stream will be tomorrow morning, probably.
Fantastic.
Doing some Warframe.
There you go. Go check it out, guys.
That.
We're gonna go.
Right,
Bro, thank you for being here, man. Awesome discussion.
Thank you for talking about it. I love having conversations.
Yeah, we'll have you back on soon for more.
It got real.
It got real.
Sure.
And I will see you in Destiny 2 on the PC.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
Oh shit, that's right.
I love it.
That's right. I'll see you at PAX South. I forgot. You're going to PAX South, right, bro, man?
I will be at PAX South.
All right,
correct.
fantastic. Me, you, and the other 3 streamers will hook up and hang out.
Oh, it's gonna be dope.
All right, we're gonna take a break, guys. More Drop Frames coming up right after this. We're gonna talk about the Switch and also what we've been playing. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you in